Hey there, Boots Owen here. It's time for an update video, I think. Solar panels in the middle of January are in full sun. A load of logs. Come back to the logs. Solar panels currently making 1.1 kilowatts. And that's at a really low angle. If we can get up there and have a look. This is gonna pick it up. So the sun's there. It's barely touching them, but they're getting about half of power out of them. I think that's pretty cool. 1.1 kilowatts. So, updates. First of all, I'll get to the endless washing machine heap in a minute. First of all, urban forestry. So there's my shadow. These things, it's January, so these things are the bases that come on Christmas trees. If you buy them with a base, they put a kind of a big pencil sharpener onto the end of the tree and make this dowel, and then they drill a hole in this log that they've cut up, and they're about 4 inches thick, or that 100 mil, 10 centimeters. And you just pop the tree in there, but they don't come off easily once they get wet. People leave them outside, they won't come off. So I go around with a silky saw on my cargo bike. And you've seen that in other videos. There's my vicious silky saw. I go around with that, cut them off, and I went out this lunchtime. I got 3 more. 1, 2, there's 3 in there. But I also found that there was a special access bathroom being decommissioned, I suppose you'd say. And it had this wonderful thing, and it's like a raising and lowering seat thing. So that bar goes like that, and that bar goes like that. And you put a seat on it, and I think this is screwed to the wall by some major anchor points. It might be a thing that goes on a toilet, actually. I don't know. But it might have like a shower seat on it or something. I don't know what was there, but it seems to have some of the cables and stuff going to it. So I don't know if I want to scrap that out. It might have the handset somewhere. There was a handset somewhere for these things. There's one there actually, that might be it. Just has an up and down arrow. So I'm hoping it's the right one. And this might be a really useful thing, like you could probably make like an electrical forklift out of it. Let's see what it says there. It's in a bathroom, but it's 230 volts. So there you go, Linac. There's also got another couple of taps and some pipes, and there's a broken sink, but it had some really interesting plumbing with like what's that guy there? A solenoid valve. 12 volt solenoid valve. Oh, 12 volts, that's actually quite handy. So that might come in handy for something. Bit of plumbing, bit of brass for scrap maybe, or for melting down. Who knows? That was this lunchtime. Just went for a bike ride and found 3 Christmas trees before the council came and took them away. Washing machines, meanwhile, you've seen already this fella here. He's made it up onto the deck, the Bosch hydro sensor, and I'm making space for that down in the cellar to get it in beside the WFP3300. And what I'm going to do is compare them and see, because I think they have the same controller, and I suspect the motor controller and this might be a dud. So I want to try and see if I can get this going with the other controller, if that is what needs to happen. In behind is that Beko that I looked at before. Can't even get near it. Another Beko over there, WM5100W, that one in there. Pashley trike, you've seen that in another video. And then down here, what else have we got? Hotpoint Aquarius, that one still works. Over to the garage. Oh, that's the Beko. I wonder what one that was. No, it's another Beko. I've got 3 Bekos at the moment. That's a Beko EcoCare with a mechanical timer that doesn't work, and I don't know what to do with that because it's horrible. It's good probably, but like it's just all rusty and stuff. The Brot's getting a bit of a nest built around it, which is not good. It was only it had no nest around it yesterday. The Brot 202. This one has been featured in a video previously, but I don't know what to do with it. It may have a dud gearbox. It has an oversized engine fitted to it. It's been semi-heavily modified. I was thinking I'd like to make some kind of a tractor using the chassis and the gearbox, but I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Like a miniature toy tractor for me to play. I could be the king of Toy Town. So that's there. there's nothing else happening in here really other than general mess, extension cords, and that welder, that MIG welder that I made a series of a couple of months ago. That tractor hasn't even moved, the Colwood. I should really try starting that up as well, but I've kind of gone a bit of a strange mood about engines. I don't really want to play with them at the moment. This is a snail fan. It's the fan off an electric fire, but inside there is a snail fan, aluminium one maybe, or maybe it's steel, and a heating element, and it blows air over the heating element to make a, you know, heater in a room, and it has a fire, it had a fire effect above it. And I've stripped that out and I've started making a video of that, but I haven't got this bit working yet. I tried plugging it in and I think the motor just needs oil. I suspect that's all that's wrong with it. It hums and doesn't do anything. So I might make a video of that, but that ultimately is going back out onto this shed here. Oh, there's another one there. Cheers to Andy for the battery drill. It works. I've tested it. There's the wheel. In the process, back out here to the other shed. We've still got a kilowatt coming out of that. The idea is to have that snail fan blowing air presumably up over those cooling fins, so that if it's under load and if the fins need, like they're just ice cold at the moment, but if they ever got hot, a bit of air would cool them down. So the idea is that in summertime, I guess, you put the fan onto a timer and it blows air over them. And that would be a good idea, I think. In here, I've been messing around with these tanks. You saw them in previous update videos. They finally moved in to a location. I've got them perched up on 8 concrete blocks, 4 in the center and 2 on each edge that you can just barely make out in there. Haven't done a load calculation, but I've got what's like garden railway sleepers on top. That one's half full and nothing's happened. So I wonder I can't imagine they would crush those blocks, but in theory they could. I guess like once the load is exceeded, they'll crush it. This is about 2 weeks of water, 300 litres on this side and about 500 litres on that side. Just shy actually, about 450. Yeah, 125 gallons. Probably English gallons on this side, not American gallons. This is how much water our house uses in one day, and it's taken 2 weeks to accumulate. And it's interesting to think of things, because it's winter, you know, this is when it's going to rain, if it's going to rain. It's cold though, it's not rainy season, I guess, if there was a rainy season in England other than all the time. So I've been tinkering with the shower pump. I don't think that's what I'm going to use ultimately, and that's a bit of a dud pump. I found that one and I'm not sure it's very good. One idea is I could just use these for watering the garden, and then all I'm going to do is draw it off into watering cans or have some kind of a gravity irrigation system, and they're high enough to get to all of our garden through gravity. But what I would really like to do is have them going into the toilet cisterns, just because even into one cistern, because the one we use mostly, at least then you're sparing some water. We don't pay for water, well we do, but we don't pay for the water we use. We pay a rate for water, so we just pay a flat rate, and could basically leave the tap on all the time, and apart from the environmental destruction that causes, wouldn't cost us anything. So this is all a bit of a notion, but I think I spent 75 quid for the tanks, and so far maybe about 5 quid for some extra pipe that I didn't have. I've plumbed it out using overflow pipe because it actually fits into the push fit. So solvent weld overflow fits into push fit fittings. So I've some welds and some push fit and some compression fittings, and then I've just brought it up around. Oh, while I'm here, there's the gas bottle from my hob conversion recently. That's where it goes in through the wall. I've posted a video about that, doing your own gas work. Could it be in the UK or could it be in Ireland? And that pipe just comes out there and goes into one of these guys, a rain saver. And so the water gets caught in there, and there's a little weir that brings it in there, and then there's another one here, a smaller one, and that brings it in here in this tank. This tank is great because it holds enough water for us to water the garden and to do all of our watering needs throughout winter. But after a spell of like a couple of sunny days, that empties straight out into the watering can and onto the garden, and you run out. So I've got another one of those to fit. I think I'm going to move that one up a bit and put another one beside it on the deck, so that they're a little bit higher, because the access is just a bit tight underneath. But other than that, like that was found, the bricks for it, the plastic feet for it were found, these feet were found I've done pretty well for finding stuff. Once you kind of put the feelers out, stuff just kind of appears. Over there is the Howard rotavator, and I bought that when I bought the Brot. I think it was like 10 or 20 quid. And I got these 2 of these wheels as well. Now they're auxiliary wheels for a rotavator or for some kind of a thing. But, you know, they're probably dead rubber, but they'd last long enough for me if I was using them on grass. And they're good traction wheels. So I'm thinking, could I make something between that and the Brot as some kind of a pedestrian tractor or even a ride-on? I've told you about those. Recently, a neighbour was cutting down a tree, so that's the bottom 3-4 meters of a sycamore tree. And I'll chop that up in due course. It's good stuff. Cut down in winter, but it's still quite wet. January, it was cut down last week, but it's still quite moist as trees go. Sap seems to have been rising in it already, even though it's the middle of winter. I posted a video recently of cutting up those ash logs. They came from, where did they come from? A little distance away, but like half a mile in the car. So I've got a few carloads there. There's a willow in behind, there's some birch there. And ultimately what I think I'm going to do is try and clear out all this area. This is all bicycle parts and firewood, but it's really just held up on 2x2s and just sits in against the wall. What I'd like to do then is put a roof on the other side of this carport to make it a bit more sheltered. But I don't want to make too much of a roof on it, because you can see at the moment it's really bright and light in here, and that's good for working if it's raining. But if I was to roof it off completely, then it would obviously be a lot darker, and I don't know if that's such a great idea. So that's all this side of stuff. Down in the cellar there's my usual washing machines. A Bosch WFP3300 that I put up recently, the WFP3300 that I use every day, and the WFP2801, along with the Indesit Moon and the Miele, and some other washing machines. So the question is now, what do I do? My sister happened to have an Indesit washing machine that she was getting rid of, and I said, would you send me the door for that Indesit? So she was passing by and she dropped it off. So I've got a door that will fit an Indesit Moon with a glass front on it. Now, I like to think of myself as an independent kind of person, but in this case I'm bowing to peer pressure, and I might fit that glass door on it and do a couple of washes to see what's going on inside that Indesit Moon, and to see how the water trickles down at the start. Not that other people haven't done it, but because people have asked me to do it. We'll see if I get round to it. There's like I show you in this video, there's a few other jobs on the cards first. But the evenings are getting longer, and so things are looking up, I reckon. One last thing. This is one of the bicycles in our fleet, and you might have noticed it's got this massive lamp on the back. So this little lamp here is a Dynamo Lamp made by Relight, and I've had that a long time. And it hits, these magnets pass it and it flickers by magic, I think, and that's a battery lamp. But this one, that's the signal head off the top of the traffic lights. It's an old style one, and I found it on the side of the road actually. It was left out by a load of dustbins near a student house, I think. And so what I've done is I've chopped the back off it, and I've chopped into the reflector, and I have fitted a work light that I found in a skip. This is like a rechargeable, probably 2 or 4 lithium cells, and if you press it on, we don't know what we'll see in the daylight here. You can see it going on. It's brighter when you're right looking at it, and it's got 2 settings, bright and brighter, and then off. But at night time it's really good. It's just like this massive red spot in front of you if you're driving a car, or as it cycles away from you, and I might make a video about that. I've got another couple of signal heads that I found along the way. You pick them up from time to time. They come up for sale all the time because they're constantly being replaced, especially the old ones, the old units with the bulb. The old ones had a bulb, the new ones have an LED, a little LED array inside. And I've got a couple of LED ones, a red and an amber, but I have maybe 3 or 4 of these. I don't know what make this one is, but the ones that are kind of easier to work with are Siemens, and I've got a couple of them. So I might make a video on making your big bike light, but all I've done is made a really simple wooden chassis for it, That's screwed on there. That just sits in there. I've put tape around the edge so that you don't cut yourself because it's sharp. That's like a spun aluminium, I think. Like it's proper spun, it's not pressed. It's got the marks on it. And a bit of wire to hold it together, like it's not high tech. And then it's held on with a bungee. I've put some little pieces of plastic pipe as dowels so that you can kind of hook it in. It's held on with the bungee at the moment, and it locates and just sits there. Obviously you lose your carrying capacity, but this bike's used with panniers, so it doesn't really matter. And then on the front of this bike, I fitted from another bike. I did a video not quite a while ago, last summer maybe, of a B-twin hopper bike, I think, if you search for that, where the back wheel was completely broken. It had dud bearings, broken spokes, and I ended up fixing it and truing it, and I was quite pleased with myself because I made a nice job of that hub and wheel. But on that bike, it had a dynamo front wheel, and I thought I'd like a dynamo front wheel. So I took off the dynamo front wheel and wired it on with a new bulb, and this is really great. So this one is used here with a Cree LED light up on top. So this is a lithium, it has 4 lithium cells. There's a battery there gone into the house at the moment to be charged. But this one shines really bright, but it seems to be kind of on a par with this. I saw it coming down the road the other night, and the 2 lights are quite strong. Like, they're really strong. They're different to car headlights because of what they are. This one, when you're going slow, it'll flicker, but once you're moving, it's really strong and bright. And I reckon bike lights are, you know, it's the middle of winter, it's dark at 4 o'clock. You need really good lights. So that's my update. Lots going on in this kind of bizarro world of old things and bicycles and firewood and washing machines. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what's going on in your life down below. Thanks for watching. See you later.